folks, welcome to my final list for the Essen Spiel convention that's coming up here in Essen, Germany, and I'm not going to be able to make it, so I'm kind of just making these lists almost vicariously so that you can enjoy the games that I want to be able to enjoy. But here we go. This is going to be 13 games that are of interest to me at Essen Spiel 2023. Now, here's the thing. I've already made a list of demos, 15 demos in 11 different booths that I recommend that you go check out. I've also made a list that is 6 must-buy games. We're all on a budget, so I had to do only 6. And then this is going to be games of interest. I might want to purchase these. I'd have to go check them out first to see how they play, how they look on the table, because that's a big thing for me. I'm a huge aesthetic game player. So those are the parameters that we're working with in this list. These are games that I am leaning towards buying, but I need a little bit more convincing, so I would be going by and checking out these at their booths if I were going to Essen, but alas, I am not. So I'm encouraging you to go check these out because I think if you're like me at all, you might like these, so go check them out. All right, my number 13 for games of interest at Essen 2023 is a game called Pioneer Rails. And now Pioneer Rails, it has the main mechanism here is it's a paper and pencil line drawing game. I am not too big on that kind of thing. However, the designers are what drew me to this, and I also like the Western theme. The designers are Jeffrey Allers and Matthew Dunstan. These are a couple of guys that have produced games that I've really enjoyed in the past. So I'm really kind of leaning on my past experience with these designers onto whether or not I'm going to like this one. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get past the whole paper pencil line drawing thing of it. But there is network and route building, and there are contracts to be had during the course of the game. And I like both of those mechanisms. So I'd really have to play it out. But you basically represent a railroad owner who has seen an opportunity to expand your empire across the new lands of the frontier. You'll compete against other owners to plan your railway in the best way possible to connect establishments to the railroad and satisfy the demands of the locals. So that's the theme, but you're going to be line drawing, and it's a paper pencil game. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm drawn to it because of the theme and because of the designers, Jeffrey Allers and Matthew Dunstan. So that is Pioneer Rails. Go check it out. The next game that I would be interested in going to check out is, I don't know how to pronounce this, so I'm going to murder it and maybe you'll be able to figure out. Cangacheros. All right, here's the thing. The one sentence puller is your gang needs to survive in hostile territories while being hunted by the volantes. So in Brazil in the late 1800s and early 1900s, large landowners called coronéis starved the northeast part of the country in an extensive area that included the Sertão Desert. These names don't count on it. In this climate of corruption and abuse, the Cangacheros, bandits who violently opposed the status quo, were born. So it's a strategic competitive game in which each player plays a gang that tries to survive in the hostile territories while being hunted by the volantes, the state police, trained to kill them. What kind of mechanisms are here? Well, there are going to be events. Area movement, hand management, you're going to move through the deck. So usually what that means, if I'm not mistaken, is that your deck is your time limit. So if you go through the deck, the game's going to be over. Who has the best, who won, that type of thing. And then there's also variable setup and variable player powers, which I both love those things. Hand management is one of my favorite. And then having those events and actions and stuff like that, I really think that this is cool. Plus, it has that historical vibe going on. This is something that actually happened, and it's based on real events. Those are things that are all pushing me towards Cangacheros. Go check it out. My number 11 is a game called Books of Time. This is being put out by Board and Dice, and the designer is Philip Glowacz. Artists are, I'm not going to try to pronounce those names. They, Zawada and Umgelter. I don't know their first. Alexander Zawada and I cannot pronounce that first name. Z Umgelter. All right. So, but the components are what pulled me in on this one, because it looks like you're going to have your actual book. It's going to be kind of like in a binder form, and you're going to be, I don't know, building your books, collecting parts of your book. So basically, it puts a unique and exciting twist on tableau building, allow you to construct 3 great books, each with their own sets of special abilities that you can write, thereby creating incredible combinations. So there's set collecting, open drafting, hand management, deck, bag, and pool building, which is your tableau building, I would imagine. And there's also going to be a solo variant in it as well. So the history of mankind, here's the theme to try to wrap your head around. The history of mankind has been written down for thousands of years. Our technological achievements, geographical discoveries, and the will to prosper are woven into intricate threads spread throughout books that tell the story of our time on Earth. Now you have the chance to shape this story. That's interesting. It's rewriting history. I don't know if I like that. But it's an interesting concept, and it has a really cool-looking, gimmicky type mechanic there of building your own books. So I'm down to give that a try. It interested me, and I think it'll interest you too. Go check it out. Books of Time at Board and Dice. My number 10 is a game that I have included, I believe, in my Gen Con lists, and that is called Hamlet, the Village Building Game. This is for 1 to 4 players, goes from 25 to 100 minutes. That is a huge window. So I would imagine it's probably going to land right around 45 to 90 minutes. That's just my guess. But here we have, it's being put out by Mighty Boards. The designer is David Chirkop. And it says, when you think of a village builder, you sometimes think of a card tableau or a static tile grids. Think again! Lots of buildings, all with different shapes, all fitting together in interesting ways. One central hamlet that players contribute to with its own self-forming demand and supply economy. Wow, okay, well that's cool. We've got network and route building, pick up and deliver, and tile placement. Tile placement I'm pretty big on. Network, route building I enjoy. Pick up and deliver, me. Yeah, sometimes I enjoy it, sometimes I don't. It depends on the theme, the game. So who will be the benefactor when the church will finally be built and the once little hamlet has become a fledgling town? Well, that looks interesting. If you look at some of the different pictures that are on the Geek there, it looks super amazing. I don't know what some of these things look like, but there is an actual 3D representation of a church in the middle of the town. I don't know if that's going to be part of everything, but man, if it is, oh my goodness, I want this game. So that's my number 10, Hamlet, the Village Building Game. My number 9 is a game called Imperial Miners. Not Settlers, Imperial Miners, but it is coming from Portal Games. This is it says 6 unique factions unite to explore the underground treasures. The components look great. It has those little translucent multicolored gems that are in there that I guess you're going to be mining. It looks like there's also going to be chaining some different cards in a almost pyramid type fashion. So those are things that I've enjoyed in the past. The components look super cool, so I'm looking forward to that, but also chaining those cards. You also have some hand management, simultaneous action selection, and then there's going to be some track movement mechanisms going on as well. So the Geek says that it is a light engine building card game for 1 to 5 players. Designer is Tim Armstrong. Arcana Rising and Orbis are a couple of his other games, in which players excavate mines using a clever card activation system. The standalone game is a set in a popular Imperial Settlers universe and offers beautiful illustrations, easy to grasp rules, and satisfying gameplay, full of chain reactions and engine building synergies. That sounds fun to me, and I trust Portal Games. So Imperial Miners is something that I would be looking out for if I were going to Essen. My number 8 is something that I kind of grasped the theme. I have another game in my collection called Toledo, where you're basically crafting a sword for the king. You're trying to the craft the best swords to score the most points. And so that sword crafting theme is something that I'm kind of keen on. This one is called Shogun No Katana, and it says gather resources and manage your forge to craft swords to please the shogun. I don't know the designers, I don't know the artist. The theme is interesting to me, and if you look at the pictures, the board, the table presence of this game is quite significant. So I would encourage you to go check them out on the Geek. Feudal Japan, land of mystery, tradition, honor, and sharp steel. The katanas have always been fundamental for the outcome of the battles that have elected or overthrown the noble and powerful families that dominate the different regions. But behind these beautiful masterpieces lies a millenary art made of technique, discipline, and sweat, poured into the most ancient forges scattered around Japan. So that has me pulled in. What kind of mechanisms are we talking about? Well, there's a market mechanism, in-game bonuses. There does have it does have a solo mode, so that's cool. Then there is also a claim action turn order mechanism. And then there's also a progressive turn order mechanism. Variable setup, worker placement. Hey. And you have different worker types for that worker placement, which is another cool twist on worker placement that I really enjoy. So this is pointing me down the road that I'm going to enjoy this, and so I would super be looking forward to it if I were going to Essen. My number 8, Shogun No Katana. My number 7 is a game called Applejack. Applejack is a game where you are simply placing tree tiles to harvest the most juicy apples and gain the sweetest honey. Well, all right then. Well, we live in the apple capital of the world, apparently. That's our town's slogan, Wenatchee, Washington. So this is one of the games that I was kind of drawn to because of the theme and because of where I live. I think people in my game group would go bonkers over a game like this because it is what our region of the state is known for, producing apples. But here's the thing, check this out. Designer, Uwe Rosenberg. Hello, big dog, big wig in the industry. The Game Builders is one of them. Stronghold Games is going to be putting this out, and it has a beautiful table presence. Very vibrant looking board, lots of greens. You have the little pots of honey and apples everywhere. This looks like it would be something that I would really enjoy. I really enjoy tile placement games, and that's the main mechanism that's going on here. So I'm drawn to this because, first of all, it has a rock star of a designer at the helm, and it is a theme that I think will go wildly popular here in this area. So that's why I'm looking forward to checking out Applejack from Stronghold Games, Uwe Rosenberg. But alas, I'm not going to Essen. All right, my number 6 is a Viking-themed game, and you and I both know I'm a sucker for Viking-themed games, so there you have it. This one is called Knarr. Knarr. Assemble your Viking crew to explore new destinations in the world and trade. Designer is Thomas Dupont. It's put out by Bombix. And in Knarr, you are the leader of a band of Vikings that you send to new destinations. Manage the recruitment of your crew and choose the best territories to explore. Depending on the destinations reached and the Vikings who accompany you, you can increase your reputation to gain even more wealth. So you're going to be placing new members on your Viking crew, activating the effects of those new members and so forth, exploring new destinations. So this looks like something that I would be super involved with and I would enjoy. It is a game for 2 to 4 players, and it only takes about 30 minutes. So it's not like you're talking about a huge time investment, but I am interested in this simply because, well, the artwork looks amazing, and it's a Viking-themed game, so I'm in. That's my number 6, Knarr. Following that kind of interest in Viking theme type stuff, this is adjacent to that because my familial heritage is Irish. I have an Irish heritage. I am an American, but I have an Irish heritage, and so this game really spoke to me. Keltay. Celte, and it says lead the Celts on their European expansion. All right, cool. The box cover was just like, pick me. It's got this Celtic female with like burning red hair and eyes boring into your soul. And 1 to 4 players, 50 to 100 minutes. So you're probably looking at probably an hour and a half of time. And this is being put out by Pythagoras. Doesn't have a very grabbing table presence, but I'm interested in the theme, so I'm willing to give it a little bit of a break on the table presence. There's some cool stuff, has some great looking artwork, don't get me wrong, but how the board looks is okay. We'll see how it works. So basically, it's a worker swapping game powered by a rondel. All right, I'm pulling in here, in which players choose actions to perform during their turn. On their turn, players swap one of their 3 active workers with one of the 3 workers on the action space they wish to perform. Then they perform the action. That is an interesting mechanism. So you've got area majority influence, you have a rondel mechanism that I just explained, and you also have hand management. So these are all things that I think I will enjoy. The game looks cool, the artwork is amazing, and the theme is where I would want it to be. So that is my number 5, Celte. Now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of this list. My number 4 is a game called The Battle for Sampo. And if you look at the few pictures that are on Board Game Geek, it has a pretty neat table presence with this huge spire going up in the middle of the board. And you're placing things around it. And the artwork of the box has dudes climbing up that spire. I don't know what's going on here. But you lead a village as a hero. You have combat and rune scores, unique powers, and aim to become the legendary hero by claiming 12 heroic deeds. Deeds require different tasks, like battles or helping the village manage your skills, companions, and resources while balancing the different actions, and search for the golden sampo, or search the golden sample for bonuses, but watch out for dark deeds that can tarnish your honor. I like the theme. I like that. It's just a gritty, visceral theme. Mechanisms are dice rolling and variable player powers. So it could be a super random game, but it looks interesting. It's for 2 to 6 players, so I would definitely be going to check this one out. My number 4, The Battle for Sampo. My number 3 is a game called Anuanni, Dawn of the Gods. Anuanni, Dawn of the Gods. The one-liner is, develop your alien civilization among ancient human tribes, gods, and space travel. Simone Luciani and Danilo Sabia are the designers. It's being put out by Cranio Creations. And what does it say here? Your ancient civilization is leaving its dying planet in search of a new homeland. The promised land is presented by Gaia, which is home to the magnificent human civilization of Atlantis. But beware, other houses or factions of your civilization also have the same goal, and only one will be able to dominate Gaia. So it's a 4X Euro game. What's the time? 1 to 2 hours. All right. This is a trend, people. People are picking up on this whole 4X, 2-hour 4X, and this is a good thing. So I'm interested to see how this happens. Area majority, area movement, card play conflict, contracts, King of the Hill. What else? Movement points. There's a solo mode, and you have variable player powers. This is something that I think I'm going to be digging on. So I'd be super interested to go in to pick this up possibly, and check it out, definitely. That is Anuanni, Dawn of the Gods. And following that gods theme, here we have my number 2, Battle of Gods. A fast-paced arena battle game where champions of Norse mythology, there's my hook, clash. Ole Steinus, hey, that's a pretty big wig in the board game design world. Mood Publishing is putting this out. There are only a few pictures on the Geek that you can look at, but the components are there. There's some miniatures, some decks for that. for each of those miniatures, it looks like. But it says, take command of legendary figures such as Thor, Freya, Surtur, Hirokin, and battle your way to claim the title as the most glorious champion or the last one standing. Each champion boasts a unique array of abilities, from Freya's elegant feather cloak to Surtur's blazing sword, activated through the power of strategic dice rolls. So this looks interesting. Area movement, dice rolling, dice icon resolution, different dice movement. You can also kill steal. I don't know if that's a positive thing or not. But there is player elimination, pick your luck, and there's re-rolling and locking of those dice. So this sounds like something I would enjoy if you like games like Dice Throne, if you're liking games like King of Tokyo. That's the kind of vibe that this has going on for me. From what I know, 30 to 60 minutes, 2 to 4 players. So this looks interesting. My number 2, Battle of Gods. And finally, the one game that I would by almost any means necessary, I would be going to check out, and that is Age of Wonders Planetfall. This is being put out by Hobby World and I believe Arcane Wonders. It is designed by Stepan Opalev. 2 to 6 players, 20 to 40 minute playing time. Here's the one-liner. Commanders explore 7 once-abandoned planets in search of resources and technology. Different mechanisms employed are you're going to have an income every round, it looks like. Open drafting, set collection, stat-based turn order, variable player powers, worker placement, and in-game bonuses. So what have we got going on here? The heyday of the Star Union has come to an end, setting off massive gravity bombs designed to create spatial rifts to new worlds, led to the collapse, and many planets were cut off from the rest of the Empire. You are the commander of one of 6 surviving groups that have set out to explore once abandoned parts of the Star Union. Your expedition will explore 7 planets in search of valuable resources and technology. Will you be able to create a new world from the shards of the old Empire? That sounds cool. And from the pictures that are here, it looks cool too. So it's really kind of firing on all of these. It does have some card playing, space exploration, and it was a video game. So there is that draw as well. So that's what I'm looking forward to. That was my number 1, Age of Wonders Planetfall. Go check it out. Thank you so much for joining me on this list. I hope you guys have a blast at Essen Spiel 2023. I wish I was able to join you, but hey, maybe next year, right? Until then, thanks for joining me. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.